Hello. It's been a long time coming for me to do another recording, so thank you for bearing with me. Those of you who were aware of my channel ahead of this. If you weren't aware, I think I have like 3 videos and I need to redo them. They're probably not very good. I've upgraded. Anyway, so I have been trying to wrap my head around where I'm going with this channel, of course. And while I have 1,000 ideas, I want to get back into the swing of things by responding to unexpected responses from a Facebook post I did. Um, I've been sharing my ADHD journey slash other mental health so that people who relate can kind of journey with me and gain from my experience being late diagnosed as an adult. Maybe someone from a younger age can have more support. So, in light of that, learning about the concept of HSP, which is highly sensitive person, which is an actual trait. It's a neurological way of being. It is observed in over 100 different species, and universally across that, there's a pretty steady 20% of the population level that is this HSP space. And so that is one idea. And another thing I posted about was called CDS, which is cognitive disengagement syndrome. I finally got that in my head, and I meant the post to be humorous. I didn't even say in it that I had them. I just simply said, here's 2 neurological tidbits. And I kind of gave a tongue in cheek way of describing each of them. The primary response I got was the care emoji icon. I wasn't expecting that. I wasn't expecting the care emoji to be the response to my post. I wasn't saying it to get sympathy. Uh, I was just simply saying, hey, these things are out there. These are ways of existing. If you relate to it, I'm digging in. So that is what today is. That's what this is for now. And so thanks for sitting with me. And I've got my notes. Kind of keep me on track at least a little bit. Um, let me take a breath. I get a little amped up. I don't intend to be long, so hopefully this is a get more of a to the point kind of share moment. Um, I am fidgeting. Can you tell? And it's a ADHD. I can't even say it right. Okay, so um, I would like to talk about what HSP is. Highly sensitive person. Like I said, it is a measurable, observable trait. Um, and there's an author, Dr. Elaine Aron. She's been studying this for a long time and has several really great books. I'm actually listening to not exactly a redo, but kind of a revisit plus of her original book, and it's called The Highly Sensitive Person's Complete Learning Program. She actually narrates it herself, which is I'm listening to the audiobook. I'm not physically reading the book, okay? Audiobooks, great stuff. Love it. So, if you want to hear her read it to you, she does have it in audiobook form. So it's really, I love it. Anyway, so just to kind of give an overview of what it is to know if you are one or not. She has this acronym, DOES, DOEES, um, and it is D, depth of processing. So a highly sensitive person is going to have the information around them go into their head and they're going to take more time to think about it. They're going to take more time to connect it to other things in their mind. They're going to take more time to consider it. It's going to take more mental effort to just take in the world around them, right? It's just natural. So for an HSP, um, to see someone who's a non-HSP just kind of skimming through, it must be nice. um, but there's very little. I mean, okay, look at where I'm sitting. I have crafted a space to share with you, um, because little details speak a language. Anyway, along with depth of processing, moving on through our acronym here, staying on track. O is overstimulation. So this kind of tandem experience of taking in the same information as everybody else, but it's saturating a little bit deeper, it's going to be overwhelming. You're going to be overstimulated. Um, by the end of the day, you just got to close your eyes, close your ears, right? So it just kind of goes hand in hand. So it's not bad, it's just real. um, Next letter is E. So she has two E's: emotional responsiveness and empathy. These are kind of just, it's a continuation. That concept of the way we interact with our world is an emotional basis. It is very connective, um, very networky. Not networking in the way that I think of it, of I need to connect to people so much as I connect to people. It's why I want to share here with you, is because I am learning something, and to know that there's other people out there feeling like this and not knowing it's normal. Yeah, hi, welcome. It's okay. Um, and so S is sensory processing sensitivity, awareness of subtleties. So the idea, so she separates it. She makes it very clear. Please, if you are relating to any of this, go listen to the book or read the book, whatever, because there's more. Um, this is super skimming, but she makes it a point to say this is not the same as a sensory disorder. This isn't like, oh, I can't eat that food because the texture makes me want to vomit. Not like that. In my Facebook post, I made a joke that the highly sensitive person was, oh, I can't stand the socks seem to be in the wrong place. So while like that's possible, that's really not the point. The point might be noticing that the seam of your sock is in the wrong place, where someone else doesn't even know their sock's on upside down. It's just there's no the awareness of it. Uh, so, for example, awareness of subtleties, um, sensitivity to sensory. My entry hallway in this house was just kind of the contractor grayish. Most of the walls were, only a few of them were painted. So when I put my art up and had them like very colorful, it was just sad. It was very sad white. And so I finally painted it. It took me a few years to get sorted. I still have more walls in my house that haven't been painted, which goals. Just low priority right now. But that hallway, I finally got it painted. And it just felt better, right? It just night and day difference to me. My husband is not an HSP. He's like, it was white before and it's still white now. Cool. Not sure what you wasted your effort for. And so, that's the kind of thing we get when we have that experience. We get these responses from the non-HSPs where they don't feel it, they don't sense it. To me, it's an emotional difference to just have that tonal change of white. My validation, though, we had some friends come over, and one of them, as she kind of walked in, she was either walking in or out, but she kind of stopped and was like, something's different because she'd been in the house before I painted and after, and I didn't tell her I painted. I didn't say anything. Um, whether it was purposeful or not, I don't remember. But she was like, "Did you paint? It feels better. It feels different." It's just I was like, haha, validation. Another person who notices that different energy from a subtle change in the light, you know? So I would say to my non-HSPs, if you hear someone say something like, this minor change from this to that just feels better, it just, it's true. It may not make sense. You may not have that feeling or that experience. But we are emotionally connected to our sensory environment. Um, we just are. So that is Doze, but she actually has +1. So this one was an interesting piece that I'm going to have to take some time to dig into. She said differential susceptibility. Basically, an HSP is going to have a higher reaction to intervention, along with or in conjunction with a higher response to positive and negative experiences. Um, it She brings it up to talk about how children respond if they're in a negative environment growing up and they're moved into a positive one. An HSP is going to respond and gain benefit from that intervention and have a trajectory change where a non-HSP kid may not really get the same level of of pull from that change. Call it resiliency or not, some people are like, once they establish who they are, they're like that forever. We're a bit more roller coaster. You give me a whole lot of positive, I'm good. You give me a whole lot of negative, I'm bad. Very easily moved in my environment because I'm just constantly sensing it and it's feeding into my neural. And does that make sense? I'm gonna just assume you're nodding your head. We're good. If we're not, if you're just totally lost with what I'm saying, um, I don't know if my comments are public. I think if you're following, you can, I don't know, but I'll go check if you have questions or not, if you relate to this or not. Um, Again, you can just Google it, right? You can just go highly sensitive person, Elaine Aaron, and it'll pop up on her website. She even has a little questionnaire. You can answer it, and it will give you like I wouldn't say it's black and white. You are or aren't HSP, but kinda. It's almost like there's a threshold point. But of the questions, be honest. Especially if you're a dude. Um, Being sensitive and being a guy is kind of a weird space in our culture. So be honest, right? Like just kind of close yourself off from the voices and answer the questions, right? And find freedom in it if you find out that you are an HSP. You're not broken, it's not weird. You're a vital part of how we're designed to commune. Like I said at the beginning, there are over 100 different species that have this trait as part of their social network. Um, we are kind of the sounding board, the resonance box, the seers of our society. Um, but we are a minority. All right, so I have no idea how long I've been recording because my phone has the clock on it and it's facing away from me. I'm gonna keep going. So I guess you can just pause anytime you want. So I'm gonna shift gears to The CDS, the cognitive disengagement syndrome, I'm not as organized in my thoughts about this because unlike with HSP having a structured, decades long, single focus study from a person, CDS is way more disjointed. So it's been observed and studied for a long time. That's not the issue. The issue comes down to whether or not people think it is part of something else or not a distinct enough item to stand on its own, etc. Um, but they have studies where they've shown, like, that people like to pair it with the inattentive ADHD, which makes sense, but it's kind of dangerous in that we don't know that necessarily the way you medicate inattentive ADHD actually helps the symptoms of CDS. So if you just have CDS thinking it's inattentive ADHD, really need to take the time to differentiate the two. They are not the same. So cognitive disengagement syndrome was previously called sluggish cognitive tempo. Thanks. I'm glad they changed that. Um, uh, so it's kind of a weird one. So I'm not organized here. Go figure. Um, almost like I have attention issues. Woo. So cognitive disengagement is a orienting network issue. There's a So you have engage, disengage, and shift, right? So as you go through all of the different things you do, you disengage from something, you shift, you re-engage into something else, you disengage, you shift, right? Or even within what you're engaging, you shift. I'm gonna shift and have some water. See, that's something I'm really bad about. Disengaging and shifting to drink water. I am practicing that. This is something I am bad at. Cheers to that, right? So it is seen through daydreaming, trouble staying alert, your mind is elsewhere, mental fog, underactive, blank stare, loss of train of thought, withdrawn, less engaged, um, processes info less quickly. Um, I kind of, my summary is loading. Please wait. Loading. Please wait. Like our brains kind of do that every now and then. Like you get your environment around you, and um, sometimes what's going on inside is not connected to what's going on outside. So with to clarify, so inattentive ADHD and ADHD in general is about the external. So I can be distracted by the fact that the wind is blowing through some leaves outside and it's really pretty to see the sun shining on the leaves and the shadows on the fence. I can be distracted from what I'm doing right now by my external experience, right? Cognitive disengagement syndrome has absolutely nothing to do with my externals and everything to do with my internals. For like the daydreaming, maladaptive daydreaming, I have seen that associated with ADHD. I don't think it has anything to do with ADHD. I think it's CDS. Um, for instance, I was transitioning from one phase of life to another as an adult already, and kind of my way of dealing with it, I maladaptive daydreaming to just break my thoughts away, to not dwell on something, not to process it, try to avoid it. Um, just it's a very chosen kind of thing. And I basically started writing a novel because of the amount of time I spent daydreaming about this concept and avoiding reality. So it's very disassociative. Um, like blank stare. Like sometimes I just need to just sit on the edge of the bed and stare at the wall. No one's home, nothing's happening, which for an HSP who's processing information all the time, when I get to that weird space of it turns off, I kind of freak out sometimes. I'm getting used to it. I mask that by trying to be doom scrolling. So I will doom scroll through Instagram as a way to mask my CDS, my CDS blank stare, or my HSP dwelling, or my inattentive ADHD hyperfixating. Like I've to try to make myself more normal and just look like I'm actually, resting. I'm not resting. I'm still active. So there's things that I caught myself doing and learning about myself that because of these things, I am shifting into having permission to just not, right? Um, there's some beauty to that. Um, I know in college I had these periods of time where obviously I had to do a project and I wanted to want to. The motivation to even want to do it, even though it was a desirable thing and a fun thing. I mean, so you'll see some depression parallels with this, right? Very similar of that. And so whether CDS is comparable to aspects of depression or expressions of it, depression is usually related to other things where that's what, like I said, it's blurry, very blurry. Um, and I've got all kinds of notes where I'm trying to sort my own self out, kind of looking back through life, reframing my experiences, both positive and negative, through this lens, aspects of my personality that I've kind of accepted as my reality when maybe they're not. Um, so, yeah, that was my intent of my humorous post. I did not want care react emojis. I just wanted to, I would have rather had the ooh react of there's stuff. Now, obviously, having all of them is super fun. So I guess you can care react to that. But if you relate to it, I hope you can find some companionship with me and my brain when I remember to reach out to you because I love you and I think you're awesome and being human is hard. So with that, I will go ahead and wrap up this spiel, whatever you want to call it, and hope you have a great rest of your day.